everyone, so just an update on the flower model. So the past few weeks during my placement have actually been quite tough. I've had to face quite a few challenges along the way. However, I've always tried to look at the positive side of everything, as remembering the positives and that it's all on its way to improve me as a coach is really important to get through these challenges. And I think as well the best way to learn is actually through experience. So by experiencing and being exposed to these challenges and difficulties, it's allowed me to understand how to deal with them and build resilience against them, which will help me further down the line. Also, getting advice from the coaches within my placement organisation has really been beneficial to me, and it's really helped develop me as a coach. So as you can see, the flower is a lot fuller now and a lot more colourful, and there's a lot more qualities on there too. As you can see, predominantly down the right hand side of the flower there are some coloured in petals with no qualities on yet, and they represent qualities that I have been on my way with developing. They're just not quite there just yet, and they're the ones that I'll be focusing on in my last few weeks of my placement. Talking about the qualities I've developed over the past few weeks. So listening, the quality of listening has been a big one for me this week, in the past few weeks of placement. And that's just because it's such a big thing for coaches to be able to listen to their athletes, and it's also an important skill to teach athletes too, especially if you're teaching young athletes. They need to learn basic life skills and things like that, and I feel it's our responsibility as sport coaches to teach them these qualities. And yeah, it's been a challenge for me because listening, you feel like you do automatically, but when you actually look into it, there's a lot more in-depth things about listening that you as a sport coach have to look into and develop. And the second quality I've developed over the past few weeks is looking after athletes' health and well-being. So this was one of the issues that arose for me with an athlete that was struggling with their health and well-being. And as a very inexperienced coach with these sorts of situations, I felt that it was best to get advice from the other coaches on how to deal with the situation. And even though I was fairly confident in myself that I could probably deal with it, I wanted to make sure that I was doing it correctly to not get into any bad habits and just solidify my thoughts and make sure that I was doing it properly. And I think it's our role as coaches as well, as we are responsible for our athletes, and I think we should offer them support around the clock, both in and out of training sessions. And this also links back to one of the qualities I developed in previous weeks, support, as you're providing a support system for the athletes, and this links in with the health, because by providing a support system you are actually looking after their health and well-being. The third quality I've developed in the past few weeks is empathy. So as a coach, again, this sort of links in with the health quality. Having empathy for your athletes is really important, and understanding where they're coming from and their situation and their opinion on things is really important. And this has actually come up within an incident in the past few weeks within my placement, and as a sport coach this is a quality that I'd actually overlooked in the past. And after speaking to the coaches within the organisation I was doing my placement at, they also stated that before they started coaching, empathy was something that they overlooked too. And so it's just opened my eyes to how important empathy is. So the quality is on there because I feel like it's opened my eyes to how important it is, and I have developed that skill. However, that is something that I will really focus on further developing further down the line within my coaching experience, as I think it's a skill that should really be solidified into coaching practice. And the final quality I've developed over the past few weeks is delegation. So coaches have so many responsibilities and roles, and that can become too much for coaches. And relating back to one of the qualities I've already spoken about, stress, it's a really big, existing literature has shown that it's a really big cause of stress and coach burnout. So it's really important to understand why delegation is important, And you know, delegating roles between coaches is extremely important. Also, the use of leadership roles within teams as well, so delegating roles out to your team captain and vice captain, just to make that role a little bit easier for the coach and to ensure that they're focusing on the things they need to. So when I joined this organisation, I was given quite a lot of responsibilities, which was great because it gave me the opportunity to develop all these skills that I have done. However, it was quite overwhelming and daunting for me as quite an inexperienced coach to have all these responsibilities. And for me to be the most effective coach I could be whilst doing my placement, I communicated with the other coaches within the organisation and the team captain and delegated roles out. So predominantly between me and the team captain. However, the other coaches did take on some administrative roles and also things being responsible for making sure the storeroom for the equipment's unlocked, things like that. But I've also realised that delegation requires a lot of communication as well, which is one of the qualities that I've already worked on in the past, which was really useful for me.